Tonight, search and investigation efforts progressing with Ghana Armed Forces and other authorities working to uncover the truth behind the devastating helicopter crash that claimed 8 precious lives, with Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee applauding the process.
As the committee which oversights the Ministry of Defense, we are very devastated. We are awaiting the outcome of investigations that government has swiftly put in place. Once the findings are out, we will definitely make our own recommendations.
We'll bring you all the latest developments with the investigations. Also, we'll be live with our team on the ground after returning to the heart of the forest 2 days after the devastating incident, tracking the investigators and gathering community responses. Here on Top Story, brought to you always by Telecel, connecting energies.
It's Kofi.
In the heart of the Ashanti region, a determined search party is still combing through the rugged terrain of the Dampia Forest Reserve, seeking every last shred of evidence to unravel the mystery of the Z9 helicopter crash that shook the nation. A crack team of military and forensic experts have been deployed to join forces with local security operatives, leaving no stone unturned in their quest for answers. In a significant development, President Mahama has confirmed the retrieval of the aircraft's black box, a crucial piece of evidence that holds the key to understanding the tragic events of that fateful day. Yet, even as this breakthrough brings hope, investigators remain resolute, continuing their meticulous search for additional debris and critical evidence that will ultimately reveal the truth behind the devastating crash. Now, these developments, according to Parliament's Committee on Defence and Interior, indicate progressive efforts by authorities to answer many of the questions asked by Ghanaians. We will be speaking to, that particular committee. Chairman of the committee will be joining us here on the show. Okay, so we're joined on the phone by chairman of the committee, James Agalga, to help us understand what's happening. Okay, so I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. Now, can we as Ghanaians know the progress we are making so far in these investigations?
Well, thank you. And first of all, I must state that we are deeply saddened by the untimely demise of the Minister for Defense, Minister for Science and Environment, Alhaji Muniru Limuna, who was Deputy National Security Coordinator, and the 5 others who tragically lost their life in that helicopter crash. I will send our condolences to the government, President Mahama, who doubles as Commander-in-Chief of our armed forces, the leadership of the entire armed forces. The reason being that the loss strikes at the very core of the leadership of our military. We're talking about the defense minister here. And I feel the pain of the family, the entire military command. But let me quickly commend the government, the swift intervention that they have made with respect to the investigation. We are told so far the black box has been retrieved. That is a positive sign that in the coming days, at least we have some findings which will establish the causes of the accident. That said, the Committee for Defense and Interior would want to assure the entire country, that whilst we mourn, we think that the best way we can remember our fallen heroes is for us to redouble our efforts as a country in our quest to retool the security services so that they can continue to function in an efficient manner.
Okay.
That we won't relent. We would continue to work very hard. And we think that is the best way to bid farewell to our departed colleagues.
So, what have you been able to gather from the team that is investigating this crash?
So far, the process is not complete. And so the committee has not been apprised yet. Once the investigations are completed, definitely the committee, when we are apprised, we would also come out with our own recommendations based on the findings that would be made.
So you don't have any information as to the progress of the team in the forest as we speak?
No, we have only heard that they have managed to recover the black box, which is a positive sign, because if you know what the black box represents, normally the circumstances leading to the accident would be contained. The conversations and all that would be contained in the black box. So once they go into it,
it's Kofi Hafer.
Useful dates.
All right. Now, have you also been told how long this team is expected to be in the Dampier Forest Range?
So it depends on what they gather, but it's early days yet for us to be talking about the time frame. But I know they are professional and would apply their skills and unravel the circumstances surrounding the causes of the accident.
So after retrieving the black box, we understand they are still in there. So this is going to go beyond just the black box, right?
Of course. Of course. They would examine the wreckage of the aircraft itself, and the grounds and all that. It's going to be a comprehensive, investigation.
All right, Chairman, I'm grateful. But today, have you had any sort of correspondence with them to know what's happening? Hello, Mr. Gaga. Do I have you?
Presented to government.
Sorry, we missed your opening remarks, sir.
I'm saying that the investigative committee, when they are done with their work, they will present the report to government. And when the report is presented, we can all do our own analysis, but as a committee, you can be sure that once we are apprised, we would also make recommendations as the committee which has oversight over the Ministry of Defense.
All right. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. He is chairman of the Interior and Defense Committee of Parliament, James Agalga. Now, just in the last few hours, the coalition against Galamsey, the Ghana coalition against Galamsey, has released a statement in which they are making some demands. Now, they say, quote, the Ghana coalition against Galamsey was gutted by the tragic news that 8 persons serving this country and on a mission to promote sustainable gold mining practices lost their lives in a helicopter crash en route. While the coalition pays tribute to the eternal heroism of these gallant Ghanaians, we are especially saddened by the mission for which they were driven. The bloody price paid should imply that, as a country, the persistence of the menace can no longer be tolerated. As a demonstration of our utter disenchantment, the GCAGS hereby, with immediate effect, call on the media and all Ghanaians to stop calling illegal and irresponsible mining as Galamsey, but rather as environmental crime perpetuated by environmental criminals to reflect the reality of the forces opposing the good of the environment. We accordingly call on Ghanaians to change their nomenclature to reflect the new narrative and resolve against the practice of illegal, irresponsible, and unsustainable mining practices across the country. We further call on His Excellency the President to marshal the forces and resources of the state to fight the menace as a tribute to the collective memories of our fallen heroes. All our demands remain relevant, and we demand that they be addressed, including 1. Targeted state of emergency to apprehend the forces persistently fueling this environmental crime and gradually bringing our country to its knees. 2. Repeal of LI 2462 and its amendments. 3. Stop deporting foreigners caught in this environmental crime and instead prosecute and jail them after they have served their sentences and then deport them as stipulated by Act 995. 4. Arrest, investigate, and or prosecute politically exposed persons involved in these environmental crimes, including the directors of Akunta Mining Limited, NDC MP for our win, Mr. Labio Fori Oscar, NDC constituency chairman for Evaluate Jura. Okay, so Evaluate Ajomoro Jura, Emmanuel Eno Kofi, the NDC constituency chairman for Dunkwa, the NDC national organizer, Mr. Joseph Yamin, Mr. Banga Yakubu Al Hassan, the third national vice chairman of the NDC, and all those named in Professor Frimpong Boateng's report, among others. They then say from now on, we cannot continue to allow the heinous environmental crime to persist without consequences, else we fail the memory and legacy of all those lost to the death grip of Galamsey, the environmental crime. The coalition is troubled by the mindlessness of these criminals in their quest for selfish gain in the face of the dissemination and poisoning of our country. So that's coming from the coalition, the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. Well, let's go get on the phone lines now and get in touch with our reporter, Emmanuel Bright Kweku, who has been at the heartbeat of this whole development since it broke, getting very close to where the crash happened to report to us what exactly happened. And he has been there again and has been back to the community. Let's get in touch with him. Emmanuel, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. So far, what have you gathered?
So, Bruce, so what we have gathered so far is that the area, as you already know, that's the Dampier Forest Reserve, has been cordoned off for investigations. In fact, just this afternoon when I visited the community, and the community members together with the military force have come together to go to the scene to salvage or retrieve the wreckage of the crashed helicopter and also bring them down to the community, pack them, and then transport them to Accra. In fact, there were some concerns from some of the community members. You know, this community is a farming community, and they have been raising concerns about the fact that the place that is their source of livelihoods, because of the farmlands that they own, they have been cordoned off for the past 3 days. They have not had access into the farm, and so according to them, they are starving and they are resorting to buying from the streets. Some of them tell me they now have to buy gari to eat, some of them biscuits and also rice and other stuff. But they are hoping that the appropriate quarters could come to their aid and support them with any means necessary so that they can actually have their livelihoods back. But I also spoke with the Member of Parliament for Adansi Akrofum, Joseph Azuma, who assured that he has been in negotiations or discussions with the Ashanti Regional Minister to have these concerns addressed. And so for today, that is what has transpired in the community so far, Kujo.
But in terms of the search in the forest range, what do we know?
So for the search itself, it's continuous. You know, this is the third day or 2 days after the incident happened. And so the search continues. This afternoon, when I went there, as I earlier mentioned, and they all go into the site and to retrieve the wreckage of the crashed helicopter. And that would take, it takes a while, as we reported earlier. At least it should take you 1 hour, 30 minutes to get to the scene or the site, the crash site, and then another 1 hour, 30 minutes for you to return. And so it's not really easy for these military officers and also the community members who are supporting to retrieve the wreckage of the crashed helicopter. And as investigations are ongoing, they would want the reporters or media themselves to not really come into the forest itself, but if any communication should be given, it should come from the appropriate quarters in Accra. So that's what we've gathered so far.
I'm grateful to you, our colleague there, for bringing us this report. But let's go back on the phone lines and back to the Ashanti region, because we're joined on the phone line by the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amwako. Henny, I'm grateful to you, sir, and kudos to you for the bravery you've shown in all of this. What do we know so far about the search which is underway?
Hello, Kojo.
Yeah, Doc, did you hear me, sir? Can you hear me?
No, I could hardly hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better now.
Okay, great. So I was saying that kudos to you for that bravery you've shown in all of this. But what do we know about the investigation currently underway?
Okay, so thank you very much for the good job you have also been doing in bringing to light the work that is ongoing so far as this disaster is concerned. So far, the investigation team, they are on the field trying to retrieve every single element that was on the plane, including all the parts, among others, so that we'll be able to, as it were, recreate the scenario and know exactly what transpired and be able to have some lessons learned from this and also be able to prevent any such future accidents occurring. So as we speak now, the search is still ongoing. Not all the parts have been found yet. And I'm hopeful that maybe in the coming days we'll be able to retrieve everything and allow access to the scene.
So yesterday we were told that the black box has been found. Today, what other part has been found?
Okay, so yes, the most important element for investigation usually is the black box, which was found by yesterday. And in a very striking manner, it was found, or parts were found by the community youth who, through the assemblyman, are instructed to hand them over to the investigation team. Oh. So what it means is that the community folks may have some others in their possession. We want to, and we are still considering out an offer so that any young person, any youth, any of these parts in their possession can return same for a ransom to be able to help us recover all the parts that are missing or that are yet to be found. So basically, that is where we are now. Yesterday, in one of the interviews, I saw one of the young guys who said that the only thing he got from the site was a watch, which meant that it's a watch from one of the contractors who were on board. So we want to see if by tomorrow you will not be able to find all that, then maybe we would excite the community by offering some ransom for them, so that anyone who may have taken possession of any of these would return it for some ransom to be able to help hasten the process.
Okay, but you were in the Ashanti region when this happened. How was the weather on Wednesday in Ashanti region?
So it was drizzling at morning, not really raining, but it was not a drizzling, cloudy as such. And definitely, I mean, if you have left your mind to aircraft, what happens when the weather is cloudy, it should tell you that these things may not be far-fetched. However, we cannot be conclusive that it is solely based on the weather that occasion is assets. Investigations are still ongoing, I'm sure the other elements come to play and we'll be able to, as it were, come to a good conclusion.
But for the community members, you saw in an interview in which they were saying they have someone as for example said the only thing he found was a watch. Are you going to go after them, apprehend them for these parts as they've been saying in those interviews?
If we become confrontational, we may lose or miss the point. We can only set dates and be able to get them to volunteer information. So I'm not too sure we would go on the confrontational bit. And also, let me commend them. They were very helpful during the rescue search and the process of having to retrieve the body. So as I mentioned earlier on, it's a united community. They have so much respect for their chiefs, their priests, their assembly leaders, their MPs, their DC. So for that matter, I want to do more of that community engagement to see to resolve the issue instead of being confrontational with them.
Okay, I'm grateful to you, sir. All the best to you. Whatever happens, we'll still come back to you, sir. Dr. Frank.
Thank you, too.
Dr. Frank Amokwene is the Ashanti Regional Minister, and he has been leading all of this effort to try and get to the bottom of this matter. He's the chairman of RECSEG in Ashanti Region there. But in terms of the investigation, there are experts who are in the forest now, gathering the evidence that's needed. Well, we'll still be doing more on this. We'll be touching base with what is happening in the homes of these late, people. We understand that more people have been going there. We have been going to the homes of these late ministers. We'll be bringing you that update. But we'll be bringing you that update. But we'll also take you to the Western region because our colleague Nathalia Konsa is standing by to give us an update on what's happening in the Western region. Michael Ashley visited the homes of some of these late ministers, and he'll be joining me in studio with some more. But let me take you to the Western region now and speak to Nathalia Konsa. We understand that one of our falling heroes, has some roots in the Western region. What's the mood like in the region?
Well, it's been sad, just like we feel across the country. 3 of the crew members who were on board apparently are based here at the Takoradi Air Force Base. This evening, I understand from the Garrison PRO that they will hold a vigil for these people at exactly 7 p.m. at the Takoradi Airport, which is situated at the Air Force.
Okay. Now, are there any initiatives or events planned to honor the memory of the deceased?
Well, it's only when we get to the vigil that we would know. I also understand that the Western Regional Coordinating Council will also hold a similar vigil tomorrow in the evening for them.
All right, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Now, in the homes of the deceased, the mood remains somber. JoyNews checks reveal that the bereaved families, particularly the wives, are still coming to terms with the loss.
State-owned agencies or specified entities. SIGA led the delegation to come and commiserate with the family and to express our condolences and sympathies to the mother, to the wife, to the kids, and to all the family members. It's quite a devastating news for all of us. And we feel that it is important at this time to come and show our sympathy, and that is the only reason why we came. We also came to assure them that all the state-owned agencies and enterprises are standing in solidarity in this grief. We were mates in school. We were classmates in Pope John's Senior High School. We continued together to Legon. And in Legon, he was in Sabaho, I was in Sabaho. We were in student politics together. And then we got into national politics and got into public service together. So we did not only know each other, we've also been very good and close friends.
So that's Professor Michael Pesa-White, who is the Executive Director for the State Interest Governance Authority, SIGA, there. But Michael actually joins me in studio with what he found from the homes of these late ministers. Michael, what did you observe during the visit?
So, Brace, first of all, we managed to only go to 3 homes, and that of the late Defense Minister, Dr. Mani Buama, that also of the late Environment Minister, Murtala Mohammed, and also Alhaji Limuna Munira as well. So, the delegation, this is delegation led by Professor Pesawa, you've already heard from, leading almost all the state-owned enterprises or agencies to the homes of the late individuals to extend their condolences and also to lend a hand of support to them as well. Because we have a bit of time, I could just walk you through some of the agencies that follow through. So we had GPHA, Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority, BOST, Ghana Gas, Gridco, Ghana Publishing Authority, VALCO, MEF, NCA, TDC, which is the Tema Development Corporation, GEA, also MMT, Metro Mass Transit, and then also we have Small Arms Commission. We also have NSA, the National Service Authority. Also, we had NPA, which Eduji Tamaklo leads. Tanko Computers Agency, Tanko Computer himself was there for GIFEC. And then as well, Randy Abe for COCOBOD, James Aveji, Kluche Aveji for the Securities and Exchange Commission. And then some surprise individuals that we met along the way. So the first point of call was Dr. Mani Buama's home. And this arguably, I'll say that I had the single privilege of being possibly the only journalist to have witnessed ever a conversation with the wife of the late Dr. Omane Buama. And in that conversation, almost about 20 minutes, she didn't even utter a single word, Brace. Her eyes were closed the entire time. Even monitoring what she was working from the room and coming in, it was a very sad situation. The house was very, very heavy. And you could even realize how it was a burden, I must say, for the immediate family of Dr. Omane Buama. And then when we left there, we now made our way to Dr. Murtala Mohammed's home, where we also heard from some individuals. We can listen to leader for Movement for Change, Alan Kojuk Chamantin, who I managed to catch just when he had left his home. And he tells me that Murtala in particular was somebody that he shared a lot of conversations with, some of which they disagreed, but he says that largely they always found some middle ground of agreement. And he says he'll be deeply missed. He also extended his condolences to the family.
Very well. I'd always considered Murtala as my younger brother. You know that we belong to 2 different parties. He was a passionate politician, and I am also. But we found common grounds. And as you know, I used to be Minister for Trade and Industry, and later on he also became Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry. So we shared common views about many things and different views about some issues. But you could always see a bond of friendship and love between the 2 of us, and he had such great respect for me as I also did for him. It's unfortunate that we've lost such a young, promising leader for our country, but God knows best. We pray for his soul, and then we also pray for the Lord's comfort for the family.
Yeah, Papani. So that was Alan Kojo-Trawantin there.
Yes, so from the home of Murtala Mohammed, Environment Minister, we moved to the home of Alhaji Limuna. Also where we met surprisingly met some MPs, both from the majority and minority side, working together. Some of them had gone to sign the book of condolence at his home. And I managed to talk to Patricia Page, who is the deputy minority leader, who was close to tears. So many times she had to stop in the middle of us talking to me to try and hold back her tears. Wow. It was a tough moment for some of them. And one sentence she passed was that it could have been just any one of them, because these are just 2 weeks ago they were actually fighting in Parliament over who was going to be part of a delegation that was going to be part of the ECOWAS Parliament. Yeah. So she says there could have just been any one of them, and certainly a very deep, sad situation for all parliamentarians as well.
Grateful to you, Papani Ashali. There. Let me take you to Tamale now, because in the northern region. A ceremony has reportedly been held in honor of the late former Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Dr. Murtala Mohammed. Martina Bugri has been following that for us. Martina is now with us on the line. Martina, at what time was the ceremony held, and what do we know?
So the ceremony was held around 3 this afternoon, where they held prayers. Actually, the Juma prayers today was dedicated for the 8 people who died during the crash. Now, all the mosques in the region were tasked by the various leaders to pray for these people, but special prayers were held at the Tamale Central Mosque, led by the chief imam of the region, Sheikh Abdul Salam Ahmed. He prayed for the dead souls of these people and also prayed that the country be averted any such calamity in the future. The regional minister officially announced to him to relate to the Muslim community the loss that they have had in the region and what the president would say in the course of the week the Muslim community will be told. The minister also visited squadron leader Peter Anola's family, where he met with the family head and also commiserate with the mother. Now, with the family head, he told the minister that this is the second calamity that has befallen the family in the last 2 months. We understand that he lost his senior brother 2 months ago, and he has also just gone. Now, speaking to the mother, the minister said the president had asked him to convey his condolence and tell her to take heart. In response, the senior sister of the squadron leader, who is known as Sophia Ayari, told the minister that they understand the pressure on the president. They as families are mourning individuals, but the president has to mourn all 8, so they understand the pressure.
So that's Martina Bugri, who is our Northern Regional correspondent. And that's how we wrap up Top Story today, brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies. But join the Newsfile team tomorrow at 9 a.m., between 9 and 12 a.m. And they're going to be looking at a tribute, a turning point, a national call to action, drawing the red line, tragedy to galvanize decisive action to end galamsey. Also transparent inquiry towards safety and institutional accountability. Those are questions they will be asking based on this particular tragedy that we've all witnessed in the council. So join the Newsfile team from 9 a.m. to 12 at noon tomorrow. My name is Samuel Kojo. Up next is Ghana Connect with Kweku Asante.